Today we are hitting our second stop on the Velshi Across America 2020 tour. I'm traveling to a different battleground state every Sunday leading up to Election Day to speak directly with voters in each state to understand how they're voting in this pivotal election and why. Today, obviously, I'm in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Until 2016, Wisconsin had not gone for a Republican president since Ronald Reagan. Right now, averages of recent polling show Joe Biden with a sizable lead here, but if 2016 taught us anything, it's that you cannot entirely rely on the polls. Yesterday, I held a socially distant conversation in Kenosha Civic Center Park with 6 voters from surrounding areas, 2 registered Democrats, 2 independents, and 2 Republicans. In an hour-long conversation that covered a variety of topics, the panel told me which candidates they're supporting and why, but first, I had to address the elephant in the room, so to speak. Take a look. There are a few issues that I want to talk about because they're so topical right now. But I want to start with one that's interesting. I see some folks are wearing masks and some folks are not wearing masks. And I want to just understand that a little bit. Tell me about your decision, Holly.
Not wear a mask?
Yeah.
We're 6 feet apart. So we've got that going for us, and I just want to make sure you can understand what I'm saying.
Fair enough. We appreciate that. Thank you. Joe?
I want to make sure that, you could hear me better, or everyone could hear me, but also, I wear masks when I go inside a store or whatever. I respect other people's, feelings and thoughts on everything, but outside I haven't. Unless I'm in a city where they tell me to, I don't wear a mask outside.
Tell me about why you're not wearing a mask.
I do too wear a mask inside stores or any place close. We are outside. It's sunny. It's beautiful. We are 6 feet apart. I respect anybody else's right for what they want to do. And also, I just find, especially I've been sitting out for a long time, is uncomfortable for me to breathe through.
I appreciate that. Okay, thank you very much for that. Let me ask you, I'll start with you, Holly. Who are you voting for president?
President Trump.
Tell me why.
Because he's the best thing for our country. Economy-wise, he's the best person to keep us on track. He's for the small businesses. He's for people to be profitable and to make money for their families. He's against abortion. He's for children. Children are our future. If we don't have children, we don't have a future.
Thank you. Chris, who are you voting for?
I'm voting for Joe Biden.
I said more than that.
Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, at the center of who I am is both is principally my faith and also a real search for trying to build a more just world. And when I look at the candidates that we've got, on the one hand, on the question of character, if I'm looking and trying to see kind of, if you will, the power of friendship in somebody's life and the strength of love, when I look at the relationship that Vice President Biden has with his son Bill, the grief that's there, the grief that he's shown for his first wife, for his daughter, the way that he's protected his son Hunter, even in the midst of what is, not necessarily politically the easiest route. And when I look at his relationship with folks who work for Amtrak and so many other folks, you see the kind of strength of friendship. That strength of character is important to me.
And I decided to vote for President Trump for many reasons. As a Christian and
She's an independent.
I cannot support a party that would let a baby be 9 months. I'm a premature baby at 6 months. I know that I am a human. I look at the science behind that and abortion. I just see that Trump is going to help me in my future with lower taxes, less government, more freedom, children are going to be protected, school choice, border security, stronger military, and, just pro-America. God bless our country.
Amen.
I'm voting for Biden. I'm voting for Biden because we need to make sure that everybody in this country has access to affordable health care. It makes no sense to be in one of the richest countries in the world, but to have huge populations of people that can't get treatment for what would be considered basic things. I'm also voting for Biden because we need to address the crisis that's at the border. Kids need to come out of cages.
That
Every
Obama
time I hear
built.
stories about how people are treated when they come over the border trying to escape disasters that are going on in their country. We are a country of immigrants, so to all of a sudden decide that we don't want to accept immigrants, I just can't get behind that.
That's
I'm
wrong.
also voting for Biden because he recognizes that we have a racial problem in this country. Trump refuses to denounce white supremacy and the acts of white supremacists in this country. And as a black woman, I want to be able to walk around this country and have equal access to opportunities as my white citizens that are beside me. At least Biden acknowledges that that is a problem. And finally, the coronavirus. To have a president who knew how dangerous this disease was and instead lied to the American people and did not take steps to save people in our country, that person should not be in charge of, how can we ever expect that he'll keep us safe now that we know that that was a blatant lie?
Thank you. Who are you voting for and why?
I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump. I wasn't sure the last election if I was going to or not. When I started seeing both Republicans and Democrats not wanting him in there, and I wasn't really sure why. And I still don't really know, but I kind of have my opinion now. As someone from Generation X, I'm not going to say that we were the first group to see that both sides are corrupt and playing a game. But I think collectively as a whole that the majority of us can see that. I like the wall. I like, our border security. The jobs before this COVID thing hit, our unemployment, the minority unemployment was as high as it's ever been.
Or as low as it's ever been, is what you meant.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. The lowest, I'm sorry.
Nicole.
I'm voting for Joe Biden, and I made that decision after the start of the pandemic, after the way that the pandemic was initially handled. I just don't understand why President Trump can't encourage people to wear masks. Not mandate or order, but I just don't understand why he won't encourage or suggest that they wear masks, because I think a lot of his followers they're cult-like followers. They will do whatever he tells them to do, and if he says it's okay to wear a mask, they will. And I would think that would have stopped a large amount of the spread. And that's what started my reasoning. But then secondly, once all of this unrest and uprising starting, and the fact that he won't acknowledge that systemic racism exists, I think is empowering, encouraging other local elected officials to feel like it's okay for them to say it too. Like, he's empowering them to let their racist flags fly. Where before it was, you had to be politically correct or, So I think that his influence and the way that he handled the corona pandemic, it won't allow my conscience to vote for him.
Thank you.
Where previously I probably would have.
Interesting. Okay, thank you for that. And of course, we ended that conversation touching on racism. Coming up, Kenosha, where I am, became a flashpoint for racial unrest after the police-involved shooting of Jacob Blake. How Wisconsin voters feel about race in America is next.